Is it really fair that you leave God, that you shut the door on God just because someone in church or church in general hurt you? If you're watching this video and you have been church hurt, I don't know how to define church hurt. I may not know the exact words to use, but if I say church hurt, being hurt from church or someone at church hurting you, but generally that you've categorized it as church hurt, I'm not going to tell you that, oh, please forgive them. Or, yeah, well, later I'll tell you to please forgive them. But I'm not going to downplay your heart. I'm not going to say that, oh, it wasn't that bad. Find a way of moving on. Find another church. But I'm going to tell you something that took me quite a number of years to learn and quite a number of years to actually accept. And hopefully you'll be able to relate, but also learn something from my experience. Story time. Hi everyone, welcome to today's video. Today I am standing up. I don't know why. I think, well, I've been dancing. I woke up to music and I was dancing. So I was like, you know what? Let me stand up for a change. My name is Bridget Namubiru and I'm very, very glad that you're here. Welcome, welcome, welcome. If this is your first time, I hope that these are conversations that we can continue having. So please subscribe. Yeah. Also, if you've been here quite a number of times, you guys are the real MVPs. Yay! Story time, but while we are talking about church heart, yeah, stay tuned, but also subscribe. Where do I begin? For those of us that have been here way from the start, you know that yes, I talk about so many random things. I usually take you through a journey of my overthinking mind, but also experiences that I've had. You know that I'm a Christian girly. I love Christ, and my life would be such a mess without God. I don't know where I would be. When we are singing those songs when we're singing those songs in church where we say, "Where would I be without you, Jesus?" My dear, those songs were written for me. So, church hurt. I have been church hurt. I have, and I know so many people have. Where do I start from? Yeah, so as a person who's been in church, I've been a minister in church since I was a child. I have served. The biggest place that I've served in church was actually choir. So I've been in choir since I was a child, even up to now in my adult age. I'm in the choir. That means that you are literally around church for a lot. For you are in church a lot more times than other people. So you're around people in church. You're in church. Sometimes you even get closer to our leaders. You get closer to so many people that are in church with us, right? Before we continue, say hi to Leo. That's Ras Leo. It's my sister's painting. She really, really loves it. And we call him Ras Leo. I think it's supposed to mean Rasta Leo. Anyway, back to my story. So, my most vivid story or memory of church hurt was when I was a child. There's been quite a number as I became an adult, but the one that I vividly remember was when I was a child. So, as a child, I used to love music. I really, really used to love music. Up to now, I love music, but as a child, if um, if my mother was to give a story about me and how I grew up, I'm sure she would say, "Oh, she really, really, really loved music." I remember that most of the times that my mama caned me or beat me was because she found me standing on top of the table in the house and I'm dancing very funny strokes and I'm singing songs to which she would ask me, "That song you're singing, do you know what it means?" But not because me, I love the song, I love the beat. I would tie my top up and start dancing. Anyway, long story short, music is part of me. Music is one of those hobbies that I'll tell you in a heartbeat. Yeah. So, I joined Sunday school and Sunday school, I joined a choir. I can't mention the name for privacy purposes. And for those that will watch that know me, I am sorry for what I'm about to say. Okay, I'm not sorry because it was my story. Yeah, so, but also I hope that we can just pick the lesson from what I'm going to talk about. So, in that Sunday school, we were children. We all loved music. Of course, some of them were older than us. So when I went to church, actually, I met Christ when I joined that Sunday school. Initially, I went there for choir, for music, for dancing. But then as I stayed, I actually met Christ. And when I met Christ, me accepting Jesus as my personal savior was because, well, I felt a void in my life because I was raised by a single mom. And I knew that my father was there. So as a child, I had that void. So um, I remember the one word that first sunk in my head was someone telling me that Jesus can be the father of the fatherless. So I went to church because I wanted to get that kind of acceptance. Yeah. Um, yeah. Story for another time. So I joined the choir, and unluckily, like any other group or something, in our choir we had some kind of, or a lot of favoritism. Yeah. When my Sunday school teachers watch this, they might say, no, what, but yeah, this is my story, like I said. So there was a bit of favoritism, and yeah, if you are among the favored, you are lucky. If you are not among the favored, then boom, boom, boom. Guess who was not among the favored? Well, later I evolved into the favored, but initially I was not in the favored. So oftentimes we got invitations to other churches to go and minister, and those times were exciting. Everyone at my home will tell you, Bridget would never keep quiet, would never shut up about if we had to go to a church to minister. I'll be like, Bananke, this Sunday we are going here, we are going here, we are going here. So it was really a very exciting moment for me. But there will be seasons where, I don't know, maybe there was not enough money for transport, that we would be so many kids that they had to choose who goes and who stays. And guys, most of the times I was never chosen. Boom, boom, boom. Imagine that excitement. I would literally talk about it the whole week. My mother would get tired of hearing me say, oh, on Saturday we have practice, on Saturday we have practice. And then the day comes where we're supposed to go wherever to minister, and I wouldn't be chosen. Well, to be fair, there are times that I would go, and it would usually be the times where there was enough transport and we could all go. Yeah. It hurt every single time I came from my home and I'm dressed up, I'm ready to go and dance and sing, and then I was left behind. My goodness, my heart would break. My heart would break. But there was this one particular time, and I think I had been piling the pain, because usually when they would explain to you why, and it made sense that, oh yeah, the transport is not enough. But as a child, I've always questioned, why me? Why are they not leaving the other person? Why me? Yeah. So, and for those that know me, or I have been told that I actually sing really well. Even at home, I would always karaoke moments. My sister yesterday told me that I was those kids who, when we had a function at home and the speaker is speaking, I mean, no, me, I don't remember. She said, but I would come slowly and tell the speaker that, I also have a song I want to sing for the crowd. Imagine, that's how much love I had for music. So, this particular day, I think I had anger built up. So this particular day, I was super excited. I remember my mother had bought for me new stockings, white stockings. And I don't know if my hair had been braided, so I was happy. I was really happy. I dressed up in my uniform. And then we get there and they take the others and they leave me. Guys, my heart was in pieces. My heart was in pieces. I walked all the way from church to home wailing. When I reached home, I know I would also, I broke my mother's heart. She felt so bad, but as a parent. And a long story short, I was like, sit down, church. I was like, I'm not going back to church. I was done with choir. I was done with church. I was done with God. I kept telling God how I came to you for acceptance. Why am I being rejected all the time? So for me as a child, I felt like, or maybe they were telling me I'm not good enough. And the preaching that I received was, oh, yeah, like enewa katonda love mwerere. Like with God, there's just acceptance, there's love, you will find love, you will, So, but now that action of choosing others and not me kept breaking me, it kept hurting me, it kept breaking me, and I was like, God, why me? Why me? I made it start, why me, God? Why me? Why me? Anyway, just now I was annoyed. I was annoyed at my Sunday school teachers. I was annoyed at church. I was annoyed at God. I was like, that's it. Sit there, yo. I'm not going back. So weekends would come and my mother would be like, why are you no longer going to church? In Luganda, it would sound like, church. My dears, I packed my belongings and went back to my Anglican church. Previously, this particular church where I was singing or ministering was a Pentecostal church. So previously, I was an Anglican. I packed my belongings and went back. Yeah, but also going back to the Anglican church, I was like, you know what? I'll just be a church goer. So, as an adult, as I grew up, of course, I came back to church. How did I come back to church? Before I skip that story, one of my Sunday school teachers noticed that I wasn't coming to church anymore. So I think just like Jesus left the 99 and went for the one, I was lucky that she left the 99 and came home. So they are home, we were playing, and then she comes home. Of course I knew she had come for me, but alas. So she enters, I come to greet her. My dears, when I greeted, I was walking out. My mother is like, hey, where are you going? Your teacher has come and you're disappearing. So she asked me, why don't you come to church anymore? Guys, the tears that I wailed walking from the place that they left us at to come home are the same tears that I wailed. Man, I cried. I was in so much pain. But I remember that time, my anger was yes towards my Sunday school teachers, but it was also towards God. I was done. I was so done. So as I grew up, I have served in different ministries here and there in church. So oftentimes things happen. But then when I was thinking about talking about church heart, I really remembered that story. And there's so many examples that I could probably talk about as an adult. But I reflected, as an adult, I grew. I moved from a place where I get angry at God like that to a place of analyzing situations before I throw a tantrum. I don't know if you get what I mean. So, we often forget that the people we serve with or the people that are in church are also human beings. When we look at pastors, when we look at worship leaders, when we look at generally everyone that's proclaiming that, I'm saved, Jesus Christ is my personal savior, we sort of hold them at a high standard, which should be okay. We should be held at that high standard so that we can be able to actually work towards it. But because I've had a chance of being the led, but I've also had a chance of being the leader. And we are human beings. Yeah. So I feel like the one thing that actually liberated me, truth be told, from church heart, yeah, is me understanding that we are all human beings. It might sound small, it might even be a bit difficult for you to, comprehend, but we are all humans. That pastor of yours that stands at the pulpit, yes, he's the anointed man of God. That worship leader, yes, he or she worships and heavens come down. That lead usher or whoever it is in church, or that lady that stands, or the man that stands and talks about, Christ and so on and so forth. They are all human beings. And naturally, we are flawed. We are all trying to work towards being like Jesus, but we all know that God is perfect. Yeah, God is perfect, and none of us can actually represent Him exactly the way He should be represented. So, for that person that had you in church, yeah, for that my Sunday school teacher who would leave me all the time, who would never choose me, well, and I'm sure they had valid reasons, but then I would not understand. But they're all flawed. Yeah, I have friends of mine who have left church because She went to the pastor to pray for her, and then the pastor made it seem like it was her fault that she's going through that particular situation. I don't know what exact example to give you, but and usually for most of us, we go to church because we are looking for solace, we are looking for help, we are looking for love. So oftentimes you've reached out to someone in church and they've not given you that love that you are looking for. Yeah. Or there's that worship leader that just has bad manners, like all of us anyway. But yeah, just has bad manners. Or pastor. Yeah, we've heard about the different pastors who, when they stand on the pulpit, they're going to preach the word and you're like, hallelujah. But then when they get off the pulpit, we'll see a beautiful lady and we'll want to pass a word or two, even if they are married. Or when, like, I think at the end of the day, what I'm saying is that all of us, human beings, characteristically, we are flawed. Yeah, we are flawed. And just like we were born in sin, just like we were born with sin, I think it's with sin. Yeah. It's just because he's a pastor does not mean that he does not go through the things that you go through. Oftentimes we shall be in ministry and I'll react out of anger, I'll react out of emotions, yet we know God does not react out of emotions. If God was to react out of emotions, some of us would be dead because the number of sins we have. La, 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 la. Anyway, so at the end of the day, what am I saying? I'm saying that the thing that liberated me from church hurt, or from letting church hurt me so that I can make predict decisions like, oh, I'm done with God and so on and so forth, was because of the back of my mind, it's sunk in that everyone in church is looking for Christ just like you're looking for him. I often keep telling a friend of mine that Banangefenam Church to Day in English, it means that all of us are sick and we are looking for the healer. Sickness can be in so many ways, but also sickness can be in our character. Yeah. So I've had a chance to be led, but I've also had a chance to be a leader. And currently, I'm a Sunday school teacher. I sing with the Sunday school choir. So one of the things that I'm so self-aware about is favoritism. Because I did go through that, I try not to favor kids. But of course, there are those kids who will learn the song quickly, who will dance well, who you will tell, sing like this, and she will do it in a micro minute. And then there are those who struggle. There are those who are stubborn. There are those who just give you a hard time. So I keep patting myself on the back that, madam, because naturally we are flawed. Yeah, so right now that I'm a son, I understand probably where my teacher was coming from. Well, if I were her, now that I know, I would probably have done better. Yeah. But what am I saying is that those people that hurt you in church totally misrepresented God. They did misrepresent God. And oftentimes, because we are hurt, I have a friend of mine who left church because pastor borrowed money from her and never returned. So she would say things like, pastor. And it makes sense because we think he's a pastor. He should know better. Yes, he should know better, but he's a human being. I feel like it's very unfair that you would leave God just because church hurt you. I know someone who lost their mother and then the church did not show up for her the way she expected them to show up. And yet she's been giving her time, her whole church, every time they needed someone to do this, she was available. And then when her mother died, the church didn't show up like that. So she was like, I'm done with God. But is it really fair that you leave God, that you shut the door on God just because someone in church or church in general hurt you? I really don't think it's a fair thing. Because at the end of the day, we all need Jesus. I don't know about you, but me, I need Jesus. We all need Jesus. And the good thing about God is that he will watch you, he will say you do all this, and he will still love on you. The Bible tells us that his love is wide and deep, that we cannot get around it, we cannot get under it, regardless of how you feel about him or where you are. But going back to church heart, I hope that we can all remember, extend. And I know that there's so much grace that we can extend, but may we extend grace to each other. Yeah. Because just as I am complaining about a fellow church member who's hurt me, and probably I'm thinking, over saying Christians, there's someone else there that have done something to me myself and is thinking, but these people who say they are born again, really. So we are all a work in progress. Don't we all need Jesus, my dears? We all do. From that pastor of yours that you look at as God, or that some of us look at pastors like which is a good thing because they are, our fathers in the spirit. I don't know if I'm saying it well, but yeah, I hope you get me. And it's okay for you to honor the man of God. It's okay for you to give him the respect that he deserves. It's okay for you to look at him with a higher lens or a higher regard, because that's what Jesus calls us to, that's what God calls us to. Yeah. The Bible tells us in Isaiah 54 that in righteousness should we be established. So God wants us to be righteous, but we are human beings. We are human beings. So that means that we are all consistently and always trying. We are a work in progress. When you learn that, you'll find peace. When I learned that, I found peace. When my leader throws something that rubs me the wrong way, sometimes there are things that happen, especially if you're a minister, and it will press you. It will press you, and you're thinking, but because I learned that and my eyes are focused on Christ, my eyes are focused on God, I keep thinking I'm here, and whatever I do is for God. And this person here, there's no way they will be able to represent God as I know it should be. Yeah, God's character is not flawed in any way, but our leaders in church are flawed, but people in church are flawed. That sister who preached to you the gospel and you became born again is flawed. They will hurt you, they will say something that will rub you the wrong way. But I think it's a very, very unfair decision to make for you to leave God, to shut God out just because church did what they did. So there's people who say, oh, can I leave church? Well, there's those that I've told, if you feel like you going back to that church will not let you serve God as you should serve him because you know your heart and so on and so forth, please find a church. Just don't leave God. Yeah, don't leave God. But then there are those who I tell you can actually stay, because that could be a moment of growth for you. Yeah, me as me, Bridget, there's nothing that a leader in church is going to say to me, or a brother or a sister in church is going to do to me, that will make me decide to actually leave God. I could leave the sister. I could leave the sister, that's drawing some boundaries, but I'm not going to leave God. I'm going to show up tomorrow and serve him exactly how I know I should serve him. Just because you have been church hurt does not justify you shutting the door on God. Now that I've come to the end of this video, have you ever been church hurt? Yeah. I'm not going to ask you to tell me about the stories that have happened to you, but what was your experience and what did you do? Yeah, you don't have to give me details, but if you've been church hurt before, how did you handle it? And what did you do that helped? Yeah. Sometimes it could be you feel like the pastor has misused the funds. Does that stop you from giving the tithe? Sometimes you feel like church is not using money well. Does that stop you from giving your Thanksgiving offertory? Like, please tell me what you think, and I'm waiting for those comments so that I can know what you have gone through. But ultimately, I hope that if you've been church hurt and you've watched this video, please come back to God. Please go back to God, because those people misrepresented him and he's waiting for you. He's waiting on you. Obulamu obulimu Yesu bunyuma.